Hey, this is Julie. It is June 23rd, 2:55 p.m. And take a look at the markets that traded today. There was a lot of great price action and some frustrating price action, and I'll get into that. In the crude market, we had API coming out in 35 minutes, and they're expecting 2.5 million to 3 million barrel drawdown, and that was already leaked. They were already announcing this on CNBC today earlier. So the oil companies after hours have been pushing price up on Mondays before the EIA report. Price falls back down to the prior support area, and we got an immediate breakout. There was like a firecracker out of here for 15 minutes, and then price goes largely sideways, choppy consolidation, and I'll show you that. So the price action is not that easy to trade. But looking forward on our higher time frame, if I look at the daily, I am expecting price to break out of that trend line tomorrow. I was thinking that this would be an excellent location to short it on that trend line. So if we get a breakout failure where price action comes back inside the trend line, we will know and be shorting that immediately. So when price breaks over this trend line, it's running into this median line of this Andrews pitchfork. We've already exceeded out of the pitchfork for the 10% band, and this is where we've rallied from, but we're running back into the bottom of this upward slope, which is very steep. So if we do break above the trend line, 62.25 is definitely a level to watch for. That is our first pivot high on the daily, and we're likely to get some resistance. 62.20. Just mark this level on your charts as a resistance area. This is also right above this Bollinger Band at 62.10. So the Bollinger Band, which is currently at 62.10, this is not a static resistance area. That one moves, so I'll have to be checking that level, the Bollinger Band one. But currently it's at 62. So those are some levels that I would expect price to retrace back from. And if it falls back inside this trend line that we've had for a long time, then this pattern is definitely going to fail and come back inside the value area, probably to 57.80, I would suppose. But to take a look back at tomorrow, I wanted to show you two things. First, the slope of the current Keltner channels is very steep, and this is where it's pointing. So if we move our chart down, I can see these levels where it's could likely end up on the high side, the middle, which is most likely 62, and also maybe even come down to 61.40 and bounce. So these Keltner bands are going to be telling. They will probably likely change shape, but for right now, this is our trajectory. And I wanted to show you that it's not always easy trading this type of price action. And here's a little bit of the frustration you get from the crude market. More often than not, you get a sideways pattern, which you want to change your signals to range signals when you're in a sideways range, so that you can capture price when it comes off of a support area and a resistance area. So that's what a range signal will get you. When you do find yourself in a breakout this morning, price flipped around very quickly and then within the space of 15 minutes, our move was over. You either had to catch on that this was a huge breakout and jump in. I call it pile on trading, like the mosh pits, like we did when we were in those punk rock bands. You just pile on and you just hold it as long as you can, because once the crude sideways pattern starts, the market makers run the stops, market participants get back in, the market makers run the stops, the traders try to get back in a position, they run the stops, and it's just this sideways area that, as you can see, from 9:40 this morning until 11:10 in the morning, over an hour, you're flat. You got nowhere, zero. If you tried to get a long on, they slammed you back. So once you start seeing this stair step, sideways, go nowhere type of price action, step aside and wait for a breakout. And the only way to trade a breakout is to draw your lines across and see if you can get in the price action. So here was the breakout, retest, and here was a little bit of a move, and that was it. After all that waiting, you get 20 ticks. So it's basically not tradable after a big run like that, especially when it starts to go sideways, unless you just buy the bottoms. But again, like I said, it's going to get you to zero after holding it for an hour. There's just really nothing you can do. Buy the bottoms, get 5 or 8 ticks, and get out. Or hold it. I will say this: crude respects the previous level. So theoretically, put a trade on after a level holds 1, 2, 3. Put a trade on this previous level, and then sit it out for an hour, 30 minutes, 45 minutes. And I know that's called discipline, and then I know that we're supposed to be holding these, but you get so shell-shocked from the market slamming back on you that you're always hesitant that it's going to try to make itself back to a major moving average or a previous level. Like yesterday high sitting right there the whole time. That's the only thing I was thinking of, is this is going to slam back into the yesterday high. So it's almost impossible to trade this type of price action. It's not easy. I got to tell you that. You have to be very careful, get in and get out, and it's called the art of scalping. And it's not an easy way to make a living, I tell you that. So it's much better to find these patterns, be patient, wait for your triangle breakouts on a larger time frame. Find something that you can trade with, and then get in the market and try to hold a position. Even if it's drawing a line and selling back into the value area or opposite side of the range, that's a good trading system. Take a bracket around price action, take your rectangle, and just set a line so that when price hits that, you're going to automatically hit the sell button. When it comes down to this level, you're automatically going to hit the buy button. That's the only way to trade the sideways chop. So tomorrow, with this EIA report, I'm expecting price to pop up and keep going in our run. Should it fall back inside this trend line zone, though, this trend line, and fall back into this area, I'm going to be selling it and hoping that I can get a downward smooth price action, but with an eye on that this is likely to flip back around on me and head back up. So Just be very careful trading tomorrow. Try to keep our accounts in check and trade our plans. Thank you so much.